Morning. And young Jacob is the latest to join us. Morning, Jacob. All right, so week 2. Now, last week we basically went through what the subject was going to cover, and you were asked to have a look around at the various solutions to the problem. The problem being we have a website development company, and you've been tasked with coming up with a solution to standardize their business on how we create sites. One of the solutions pre-proposed was WordPress, and that's what we'll go on looking at. But it's up to you to make your decision as to which solution you're going to recommend as we progress through, but I'm just going to give you some guidance on the WordPress side of things if that's the solution you've chosen. So today we're just going to have a fairly easy day. We'll have which solution you come up with, have a discussion about what WordPress is and the various WordPress domains to start off the day. So, which solution did you choose? We've already had a couple to say we'll stick with WordPress, so it's up to you. But the first thing you need to do is remember the first assignment that's going to hit you is going to ask you to write a business case for choosing your solution. So you've got to come up with the solution that you've chosen and the reasoning behind selecting that solution. Just as a heads up, that's going to be in the first assessment item. And then I'll be like, give us some examples of what you can do with WordPress and that, or your option. So what's WordPress? Well, it's an interface. So basically it's the tool that you use to create your content and for people to see that content. So you can use it to publish either a blog, portfolios, magazine styles, community site, business sites, whatever you can dream of as far as something to publish. This is a tool for that. So you can either download it and install it on a server, but it's built to be connected to a database. Okay, so we'll look at those requirements in a few slides. It's also pretty much like a GUI. So just like your Word documents and that, you basically can use WordPress to type what you want, and it's like a WYSIWYG. What you see is what you get type environment. So the idea is this system allows you to build your content, and it is not embedded into WordPress. It's just a creation tool and a management tool. It's a free open source application. Alright, so what it combines is the ability to create, store, and distribute your content. In other words, a content management system. So you've got your users, you got your storage, and you got your creation and it's all managed via the WordPress interface. So there's a couple of domains associated with WordPress. Top one there is WordPress.org, and this is where the open source community resides. So this is where you can get the application, all your forums, and everything that is built around the community of support that is open source. So this is the organization that also oversees the development of WordPress as an application. Then you got WordPress.com, which, if you're like me, the first site you went to was that one. It's the commercial side of it, which is owned and run by Automatic, which provides WordPress as a hosted service. So it's software as a service. So to clarify, we have three elements of the WordPress. So we need to be very clear when we're discussing these elements, which one we're talking about, because people just say one and they don't clarify what they're discussing it. So you got WordPress, which is a standalone application which you can download and install on your own server. You got the WordPressorg, which hosts the open source project. You can download the application for free, and there's a lot of support documents and articles and stuff that is available on how to drive WordPress there. And then, as I said, you got WordPress.com, which you can actually use it as a free software service, or you can pay, and it's not really that expensive, and they'll register domains and do all that stuff for you. So that's the software as a service. So you don't have to actually have a server available. You can actually use their commercial side and create a domain and get it hosted and published via WordPress.com to your domain. So the application, as I said, you can download it from WordPress.org, but you need to have a server that has PHP version 7.4 or greater, a database, either MySQL version 5.6 or MariaDB 10.1 or greater. And it's recommended that you either use Apache or Nginx. That gives you the most robust web page support that WordPress can provide. So the Apache that is highly recommended, but you can use whatever you want to host it. So there's two parts to WordPress. There's the front end. This is what is published. It's what people see, okay, when they come to your site. Then there's the back end. This is where all your creation activities and happen, and it's secured via passwords. So you've got a login page, or panel, depending on what document you're reading. And this is available via your front page. Okay, so basically Is it secure having this login page attached to your front end? Ask yourself this. Is your bank front page secure? Because your bank's login page or panel, whatever you want to call it, is attached to their initial page. So, login systems are only ever as secure as your passwords are. So if you have a really strong password, you should be fine. But again, just remember, when we're looking at security, it's not just a password. We've got to look at the underlying vulnerabilities of the server as well. So just be aware of that. But generally speaking, the WordPress login system is pretty secure. So when you log in, you get to a dashboard, which is your launching element, which is a summary or overview of what's happening with your website. Now, published material that I've got for you in the My Learning unit under the class forum is a little dated. They're talking about different menu locations and things like that. So it has the relevant information as far as you go to this section to do that by the looks of it. But where they're saying is it's a menu across the top of the screen. If we look at Dashboard now, in its current version, it's actually down the left-hand side. So it's a little different, but the core content is relevant. Okay, so just be aware of that while we're going forward. And it could be just because I was looking at WordPress.com and the dashboard, but when I went and looked at the WordPress.org, their examples under the dashboard were pretty much the same as what is on .com. So it looks like they've updated and refreshed the whole WordPress, which happens from time to time. They give it a refresh. So just take the core content and work from there. So you can think of it as having three main sections to the dashboard, which again, coming down to what sources you're reading from, they could call this the admin panel, or which is basically the dashboard. All right, so it's where your application updates and plugins and statistics can all be accessed through. You also have a section where you actually do your content creation. So that's where most of our time will be spent, is in this dashboard. And then you got the site administration, where you configure your appearance of your site, your overall settings, and what plugins you've got running. You can have a look under your profile settings if you're using WordPress.com, and you can quickly change the feel of your dashboard. And the menu system on the left-hand side is very easy to navigate. You get expanding sub-menu areas, which you just got to click on to expand or to hide. Very, very good. Well, so far, what I've had a look at it. So, I'm sure this will be the feeling of most of you. Enough of the death by PowerPoint. So what I decided to do, rather than just have PowerPoint slide after PowerPoint slide discussing the features, which is basically or what the content is on the forum, is pages of Word documents talking about features and where to find them without any examples or anything. I thought we'd just actually jump and have a look at the various sites. And what I did when I first signed up to WordPress.com was give the page a name, which you've got to do when you select your account type. And that's basically all what I've done is I've given myself using the free domain hosted with WordPress.com just to explore the features of WordPress, and we'll take it from there. So let's expand that up to full screen. So within My Learning under the unit in the class forums, which you should get as soon as you log in. So if I go back to that page there, as soon as you log in, you should see this class forums come up, and you just click on the class forums and you'll get the posts that I've put in there that has all the associated documents and a couple of activities that I've taken from the old 417 unit, which was the superseded unit back in 2019. So that's basically the content that was there, and it's relevant to the unit. The content that is actually was in this page here, as you can see, it's not published to you anymore, is asking you to go read all about morals and ethics and that off various websites, which isn't relevant to this site, or this unit, I should say. I think what's happened is they've copied the shell to start editing for the new content and never got around to actually finishing it, because I'll just say the assessment tasks that were attached to it were pretty interesting. This one's good because it's talking about creating the website and that, so that's good. That's from Metro, so I'll be expanding on this. But the one that came for Bendigo, this is the modal answers, which is basically the reference sheet for marking. And as you can see, you're going through reading and giving an explanation of what IEEE is, ITEL, and then you've got to go through and write a paragraph on all of the standards. I figured none of you were interested in that one. Look, the standards are there, you can read them. Most people don't, and it's not really the idea of this subject is to actually look at technology, and standards is describing things that we work towards, not new technology. So I didn't see the relevance of using this material, so we'll rip Metro's old unit apart and paste it in the forums as a guide moving forward for this one. So that's where we're coming from. So the first WordPress site we'll look at is WordPress.org. Now, nice little thing here is it comes up and says we have your language and your region detected, and we can just click on that and it'll customize itself to those regional settings. So it'll change the language of the web page and that for you, gives you a look at what can be done with the process. I mean, remember last week 38% or something of the sites in the world, they are driven by WordPress. So there's got to be something in it for people to use. So we have social interactions, fully customized designs. We can have download an application for our mobile phones to manage the site, look at statistics, that sort of stuff. So it's quite a powerful tool set if you want to use it. And the actual WordPress application isn't that big. I downloaded it this morning, and where are we? Whoops. I didn't download it to my Alright, so there it is there. I actually downloaded it to the unit folder that I'm using. So as you can see there, it's 14 meg to download as a zip file. Now that doesn't include your PHP and Apache or none of that. That's just the WordPress application. And according to their download page, if you come across to here, alright, so here's the requirements again, and they say it only takes about 5 minutes to install and set up after you've got all this set up. So installing the application is fairly quick, easy. Alright, now WordPress.com. Now when I go in, it automatically takes me to ICTICTICFORAU.wordpress.com, which is the nominated website name that I gave when I created the account. So this is what the software as a service interface looks like, and it doesn't look that much different to the dashboard that you see advertised in the .org. Okay, so the menu system's down the left, and your themes and information is in the main body of the page. So the software as a service is keeping it on track with the application, which would be expected. So everything's available here down the left hand side. As you can see in the middle here, this is my home, which is basically the dashboard. I've created the site when I created the account, gave it a name, and just accepted the default menu that comes up pages, posts, media, comments. That's the default menu system. There's a nice little introduction video there that you can watch. Some more information on learning. They even have a free photo library, so there's no copyright issues with using the photos out of the library. So just a word of warning when you're doing publishing of websites and that, either take the photos yourself or make sure that they are royalty free, copyright free, i.e. photos and elements that you're using, because otherwise you could come unstuck legally. So down underneath this on the sides, you've got your site management links. So adding a page, writing a blog, changing your theme, adding domains. So over here you can add more sites, and changing the color scheme of this dashboard was as easy as going into, so you can profile, you can put your picture in, put your details in, which you can see I've done nothing about. And under account settings, you've got your contact details, the username that people see, whether the website is located, what language the interface is, and then here's your various color schemes. So you can go to midnight, you can sunset, whatever color scheme you want to use is up to you. I'm starting to, as you can see, I've turned all of my default screens to high contrast, i.e. the midnight selection would be what I would normally run with. And to get back to where you're going, you just hit the top left hand button. My site takes you back to the page. And if you want to see what your site is looking like before you publish it, just click visit site and it'll take you through to what it looks like. Alright, so here's your home, your blog page, about. Looks a lot like me, doesn't it? Contact. Alright, so this is all just the rough template that there. I decided to use the name of my YouTube channel. I might actually start doing a blog or whatever out of this after this unit with this site. I don't know. We'll see what it comes out like. So that's what you can see. You can look and change it up, and it gives you a little thing about whether it's launched or not. The other button up the top here is Reader. Click on that one and it takes you through to like the social aspect of the magazine. So you go through it, it'll have little articles that are published by the various blog elements within WordPress and associated bits and pieces with this site. Alright, remember there's two domains, there's the .com and the .org. So this is the social elements and advertising and all that sort of stuff with the .com side of things. So hints about how to use it, and then blog posts from the team within the .com element. And then you've got the same thing happening over at .org. So I was just going to see how extremely easy it is to edit. So it says it's home base for editing. So I should be able to edit my home page by clicking on that button. And boom, I'm here. So there's an it says there, autosave, switch to draft, preview and update the page there. So we would be welcoming them to I Teach Cisco AU, and what we're going to say is okay. To sites dedicated to all things, learning all things networking. And some associated general IT topics. Sample logs. Yeah. So let's have a preview of that one. Does it look any different? Not really. The same background, different words. So you can flip them across and look at it, go through the various elements and have a play around. Now, I'm not going to sit here and make you watch me play around with a GUI interface. I think it's pretty self-evident that it's a what you see, what you get type of interface, and you're quite capable of going through and having a play and looking at the various elements by clicking on things yourself. You don't need me to treat you like absolute idiots and show you every element. I think you're smart enough to explore the site if you've decided to use this thing. That's the other thing. I've opened this unit to your choice, so I'm not going to spend an hour, hour and a half each week droning on about WordPress. I'm going to use WordPress as an example of what we can accomplish using it. Now, let's skip back to home. And one of the things we need to talk about is talking about a theme. So if you look under design and themes, you know, each one of these content management systems is going to have plugins and themes and various tools to enhance what you're going to do. So I'll give you the heads up of what the first assessment unit's for this unit's going to be about. It's, as I said, it's going to be about justifying the choice of the tool system that you've decided to use, and it's going to ask you to basically show us with a demonstration of what you logged in as, and it's going to ask you to choose a theme for your website. So this, alright, the theme is what is going to be the look and feel of your demonstration website's going to be. So in WordPress, it's called themes. Other tools that might be called a template, whatever it is, it's the look and feel of how your site's going to be presented. Okay, so under design in WordPress, you'll find themes. You come down, have a look, try to find one that appeals to you, and basically you select it and go, yeah, this is the type. And a lot of them will be free, some of them you'll have to pay for. So just go through, find one that you like the look of, and you basically select it. Like this one's $181. So I would not be selecting that one. So have a look through, find the one you want. I mean, prices are there even before you click on them. So just click on the free button there, do some pre-sorting, and have a look, find the one you want, and then install it. And take some screenshots of the process. That's basically what you'll be asked to do in the assessment. Tell us what your choice is, the business reasons why you chose the solution, and then it'll be asking for an example of you starting to set up the web page as a demo and applying a design theme, so how it's going to look and feel. Okay, so that's where we'll call it. That's 45 minutes of me rambling. It's probably enough for most of you, and that basically covers the first assessment requirements. So I think that will do. And what I'll do is I'll spend a bit of time going through selecting my options and stuff, and that'll be documented in other elements, but you certainly don't need to see me go, click on this page, yeah, look at the details, no, next one, look at this one. You don't need to watch me do that. Just be aware it's there. You select what you want, and you just click on the activate, and that applies the theme to your site for you. Okay, that's where I'll stop this recording.